Welcome back, Coinology. Imagine holding a small copper coin in your fingers, something so ordinary that most people would not even bother to bend down and pick it up from the ground, yet this tiny object carries a story so deep, so dramatic, and so full of mystery that collectors around the world whisper about it as one of the most fascinating Lincoln cents ever struck. The 1970 D1 cent coin is not just a piece of pocket change, it is a silent witness to American history, to the evolution of money, to minting technology, and to the dreams of collectors who search through rolls of pennies hoping to discover a hidden fortune. This coin was minted in Denver, represented by the small D mint mark, and while millions upon millions were produced, a few special examples stand apart, creating legends of massive value and shocking auction results that continue to fuel excitement today. The 1970 D Lincoln cent belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial Series, a design that began in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1970, this design had already become familiar to Americans, yet every year carried subtle differences that now mean everything to collectors. The obverse of the coin features the iconic right-facing portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's calm yet powerful expression reflects leadership, endurance, and unity, values that resonated deeply in the United States during the turbulent late 1960s and early 1970s. Above his head is the word Liberty, to the right is the date 1970, and beneath the date, the small but crucial D mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse design shows the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of national remembrance and respect. Inside the memorial, if you look very closely with magnification, you can actually see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln, a remarkable detail that fascinated collectors for decades. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, along with E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Below the memorial sits the denomination 1 cent, a simple statement that hides the incredible potential value some of these coins can carry today. In terms of physical specifications, the 1970 D penny was struck on a bronze planchet composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This was before the major composition change in 1982, making these coins heavier and richer in copper than modern cents. The standard weight of a 1970 D Lincoln cent is approximately 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters. The edge is plain, with no reading. These technical details may seem small, but for collectors and experts, even a fraction of a gram difference can signal a rare error or special strike that completely transforms the coin's value. Now, here is where the story of the 1970 D penny becomes truly exciting. While most examples are worth only a small premium above face value, certain rare varieties and error coins have achieved legendary status. Among collectors, the idea of a 1970 D cent worth extraordinary money is often connected to rare mint errors, exceptional condition, and unique characteristics that separate one coin from millions of others. Coins struck with unusual die varieties, off-metal errors, dramatic double strikes, or other minting anomalies can command staggering prices. Over time, rumors, private sales, and theoretical valuations have pushed the perceived top value of a perfect, one-of-a-kind 1970 D penny into the realm of tens of millions of dollars. The Denver Mint in 1970 was operating at high speed, producing cents in massive quantities to meet public demand. High production speed increases the chance of errors, and errors are where collectors' hearts beat faster. A coin struck on the wrong metal, for example, or with a misaligned die, or with a dramatic double image, becomes instantly rare. Combine such an error with pristine, uncirculated condition, and you have a recipe for a coin that can rewrite record books. Stories circulate within the numismatic community about coins discovered in old bankrolls, family collections, or even pocket change, later authenticated and valued at incredible amounts. The idea of a 1970 D penny reaching a market value as high as $24 million is tied to the concept of uniqueness. In the coin world, uniqueness is power. If only one example of a specific error or variety exists, and if it is in flawless condition, collectors and investors are willing to compete fiercely to own it. At the highest level of collecting, price is not just about metal or age, it is about prestige, rarity, and the desire to possess something no one else can. A single coin can become a symbol of ultimate success in numismatics. Historically, the year 1970 itself adds emotional weight to this coin. America was undergoing massive cultural and political changes. The Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and economic shifts all defined this era. Coins minted during this time are tangible links to that history. Holding a 1970 penny is like holding a small time capsule, a piece of everyday life from a moment when the world was changing rapidly. For collectors, this historical connection adds another layer of appeal. Condition plays a massive role in value. A circulated 1970 penny, worn from years of use, might only be worth a few cents to a few dollars. But an uncirculated coin, especially one graded at the highest levels such as MS-67, MS-68, or even higher, becomes exponentially more valuable. Professional grading services examine every detail under magnification, judging luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. A perfectly preserved coin with blazing original luster can be many times more valuable than a similar coin with even the smallest imperfection. Collectors searching for a potentially priceless 1970 penny are advised to look closely at the date, mint mark, and overall appearance. Strong doubling, unusual thickness, incorrect weight, or strange coloration can all be signs of a rare error. Even something as simple as an unusually sharp strike or mirrored fields could indicate a special coin. Many legendary discoveries began with someone noticing that a coin just looked different from the rest. The market for rare coins is driven by passion, competition, and trust. Auction houses, private collectors, and investors all play a role in establishing value. When a coin with extraordinary qualities appears, it can ignite bidding wars that push prices far beyond expectations. A theoretical or private market valuation of $24 million reflects not just the coin itself, but the story, rarity, and global attention surrounding it. At that level, the coin becomes more than money, it becomes an artifact, a trophy, and a symbol of ultimate rarity. As we move deeper into the story of the 1970 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that this is not just about copper and design. It is about the thrill of discovery, the patience of collectors, and the idea that unimaginable value can hide in the most ordinary places. Every penny tells a story, but some stories are so powerful that they change lives. In the next part, the journey continues as we explore deeper varieties, famous discoveries, collector strategies, and how you might identify whether a simple 1970 penny in your possession could be something far greater than it appears at first glance. As the story continues, the fascination with the 1970 1-cent coin only grows stronger, because the deeper collectors dig, the more layers of mystery and possibility they uncover. What truly separates an ordinary coin from a legendary one is not just how it looks at first glance, but what lies beneath the surface, hidden in tiny details that most people never notice. The minting process itself is a complex dance of metal, pressure, and precision, and in 1970 that process was far from perfect. Every imperfection created an opportunity for rarity, and rarity is the heartbeat of extreme value. When a blank copper planchet entered the presses at the Denver Mint, it was supposed to be perfectly centered, perfectly aligned, and struck with just the right amount of pressure. But machines are not flawless, and human oversight can slip. Sometimes a planchet was fed incorrectly, sometimes the dies were worn, cracked, or misaligned, and sometimes a coin was struck more than once. Each of these situations could produce a cent that looked dramatically different from the rest. A double strike could leave overlapping images of Lincoln's face. An off-center strike could shift the design partially off the coin. A wrong planchet strike, perhaps on a foreign blank or experimental metal, could completely change the weight and color. These are the kinds of errors that collectors dream about. A weight, in particular, is one of the first clues experts examine. The standard 3.11 grams of a 1970 penny acts like a baseline. Any noticeable deviation raises immediate questions. A heavier coin might indicate a thicker planchet or a wrong metal. A lighter coin could suggest an incomplete strike or improper alloy. In rare cases, a cent struck on a silver-colored planchet or another unintended metal becomes so unique that it essentially exists in its own category, with no direct comparison. That is where valuations can skyrocket into the millions, because collectors are no longer comparing dozens of examples, they are competing for a single known piece. The coin symbol itself, the familiar Lincoln cent design, also plays a role in emotional value. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most respected figures in American history, and his image has appeared on the cent for more than a century. This continuity creates a powerful connection between generations. A 1970 penny might have passed through the hands of workers, children, shopkeepers, and families, quietly witnessing daily life. When such a coin turns out to be extraordinarily rare, it feels almost magical, as if history itself selected that one piece to stand out. Collectors often talk about eye appeal, a term that goes beyond technical perfection. eye appeal is about how a coin feels when you look at it. The glow of original copper luster, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the lettering, and the overall balance of the design all matter. A coin can be technically rare, but if it lacks visual beauty, it may not reach the highest values. On the other hand, a stunning example with flawless surfaces and vibrant color can push bidders into emotional territory, where rational limits disappear and prices soar. The idea of a $24 million market value is not something that comes from everyday sales. It comes from the highest level of collecting, where buyers are often wealthy investors, institutions, or elite collectors who see rare coins as portable, historical assets. At this level, coins are compared to fine art, rare diamonds, or historical manuscripts. The value reflects not just what the coin is, but what it represents. Owning a once-in-a-lifetime 1970 penny would mean owning a piece of American minting history that may never be duplicated. Stories circulate in the numismatic world about incredible discoveries that began with simple curiosity. Someone sorting through old jars of change, another person inheriting a collection from a relative, or a roll hunter checking pennies one by one under a lamp late at night. These stories keep the dream alive. They remind people that rarity does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly, blending in with millions of ordinary coins until someone takes the time to look closer. Authentication is a crucial step in turning a suspected rarity into a recognized treasure. Professional grading services examine coins under powerful magnification, measure weight and dimensions precisely, and compare characteristics against known records. When a coin is certified, sealed in a protective holder, and assigned a grade, it gains credibility in the market. For a potential multi-million-dollar coin, this step is absolutely essential. Without certification, even the rarest coin remains just a story. The market itself is shaped by psychology as much as by data. When a coin becomes known as unique or exceptionally rare, its reputation can grow over time. Articles are written, videos are made, collectors talk, and anticipation builds. If such a coin were ever to appear at auction, the event would attract global attention. Bidders would not only be buying a coin, they would be buying a moment in history, a chance to own something that could become legendary. As attention increases, so does competition. In high-end auctions, bidding can escalate rapidly, with participants pushing far beyond initial estimates. Pride, prestige, and the fear of missing out all play a role. This is how theoretical values in the tens of millions become imaginable. A single coin, once worth a penny, becomes a symbol of ultimate rarity and desire. The journey of the 1970 1-cent coin is ultimately a reminder of why people collect. It is not just about money. It is about curiosity, history, and the belief that extraordinary things can hide in ordinary places. Every detail, from the weight in grams to the tiny mint mark beneath the date, becomes part of a much larger story. And as this story continues, the legend of the 1970 penny grows, inviting collectors and dreamers alike to keep searching, keep learning, and keep believing that the next great discovery could be just one coin away. As the legend expands even further, the conversation around the 1970 1-cent coin begins to move beyond the minting floor and into the world of long-term survival and preservation. Coins are fragile storytellers. Copper reacts to air, moisture, and human touch, and over decades these reactions slowly change a coin's surface. That is why truly pristine examples are so rare. Every fingerprint, every scratch, every moment spent rattling in a pocket leaves a mark. When experts imagine a 1970 penny valued at unimaginable levels, they are envisioning a coin that somehow escaped all of that damage, protected by chance, luck, or careful storage, remaining almost exactly as it was the day it left the Denver Mint. The color of copper is one of the most emotionally charged aspects of a Lincoln cent. Freshly struck bronze has a bright, fiery red appearance, glowing with energy. Over time, most cents fade into brown or red-brown tones. Collectors prize full red examples because they represent youth, freshness, and originality. A 1970 penny that still retains blazing red luster after more than half a century feels almost miraculous. This is the kind of visual impact that stops collectors in their tracks and makes them lean closer, hearts beating faster. Another layer of fascination comes from die states and die life. Minting dies wear down over time, developing cracks, chips, and subtle distortions. Early die state coins often show sharper details and stronger strikes. Late die state coins may show cracks running through letters or designs, sometimes forming dramatic shapes that collectors find irresistible. A dramatic die crack or retained cut on a 1970 D cent, combined with perfect surfaces and original color, could elevate the coin into a category all its own. When something is visually dramatic and technically rare at the same time, the market response can be explosive. The human side of collecting cannot be ignored. For many people, pennies are their first connection to coins. Children count them, adults ignore them, yet they remain the most familiar denomination. This familiarity creates a powerful contrast when a penny becomes extraordinarily valuable. The shock factor itself adds to the mystique. A 1970 D penny valued in the millions challenges assumptions and sparks imagination. It makes people question what else they might be overlooking in their daily lives. Economic context also plays a role. Copper prices, inflation, and shifts in collecting trends all influence how coins are perceived. While the metal value of a bronze cent is modest, its numismatic value is driven by rarity and demand. As more collectors enter the hobby and information spreads through videos, forums, and social media, competition increases. A coin once considered obscure can suddenly become famous. The idea of a single 1970 D cent commanding a $24 million valuation reflects not just rarity, but a global audience hungry for stories of hidden treasure. Provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership, can further enhance value. If a remarkable 1970 D penny were traced back through decades, perhaps found in an original roll, a mint employee's collection, or a historically significant hoard, that story would add credibility and romance. Collectors love stories almost as much as they love coins. A strong provenance turns a rare object into a narrative, and narratives sell. There is also the science behind examination. Advanced tools allow experts to analyze metal composition, surface structure, and strike characteristics at microscopic levels. These techniques can confirm whether a coin is genuine, altered, or truly unique. In the case of a potential multi-million-dollar cent, such analysis becomes intense and meticulous. Every atom matters. Every irregularity is studied. This level of scrutiny transforms a simple penny into a subject of serious research. The search itself becomes addictive. Roll hunting, estate sales, flea markets, and old collections all become potential hunting grounds. The idea that a historic, life-changing coin could still be out there fuels endless hours of searching. The 1970 D penny sits right in that sweet spot of age and availability. It is old enough to be interesting, yet common enough that people still encounter it regularly. This balance keeps hope alive. As the narrative continues, the 1970 D 1 cent coin stands as a symbol of possibility. It represents the belief that value is not always obvious, that history can hide in plain sight, and that patience and knowledge can unlock extraordinary rewards. Each layer of detail, from copper composition to market psychology, adds depth to its story. And with every new collector who learns about it, the legend grows stronger, pushing the boundaries of what a single cent can mean in the world of numismatics. As the journey moves even deeper, the 1970 D 1 cent coin begins to feel less like a simple collectible and more like a mirror reflecting human ambition, patience, and imagination. At this stage, the discussion shifts toward the global impact of rare American coins and how a single cent can command attention far beyond the borders of the United States. American numismatics has a worldwide following, and Lincoln cents, in particular, are studied, collected, and admired by people who may never have spent one in daily commerce. The familiarity of the design combined with the potential for extreme rarity creates a universal appeal point. One of the most powerful forces driving interest in the 1970 D penny is the concept of comparison. Collectors constantly compare coins to known record holders. When they see that other seemingly small or modern coins have sold for millions due to unique errors or exceptional condition, it opens the door for imagination. If it happened once, it can happen again. This mindset fuels speculation and drives collectors to re-examine coins they may have previously overlooked. The 1970 D cent, with its massive mintage and potential for hidden anomalies, becomes a prime candidate for such dreams. The role of education is crucial here. Knowledge transforms luck into strategy. Experienced collectors know what to look for, how to weigh a coin accurately, how to examine surfaces under proper lighting, and how to recognize the difference between genuine mint errors and post-mint damage. This expertise is what separates serious hunters from casual observers. When someone understands the true characteristics of a rare coin, they can act decisively when opportunity appears. A legendary 1970 penny would not reveal itself to someone rushing through a pile of change, it would reveal itself to someone patient, curious, and informed. Time itself becomes a character in this story. More than 50 years have passed since these coins were minted. Every year, more coins are lost, damaged, or melted, reducing the surviving population. As survival numbers decrease, the relative rarity of high-grade examples increases. This slow attrition quietly strengthens the value of the best remaining pieces. A flawless 1970 penny surviving untouched into the modern era is not just rare, it is a survivor against odds. Collectors also talk about registry sets, competitive collections where participants strive to assemble the highest graded examples of each date and mint. In this competitive environment, a single top population coin can become the key to victory. If one collector needs that final, ultimate 1970 penny to complete or dominate a registry set, they may be willing to pay almost any price. This is another pathway through which valuations can reach extraordinary heights. Emotion plays an undeniable role. The thrill of owning something extraordinary, the pride of discovery, and the recognition from peers all influence value. When collectors gather at shows or online forums, stories of great finds are shared like legends. The idea of a penny worth $24 million becomes a modern myth, inspiring newcomers and veterans alike. Even if only one such coin exists, its influence spreads far beyond its physical form. The design itself continues to anchor the story. Victor D. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln has been praised for its dignity and realism. On a perfectly struck 1970 cent, the fine details of Lincoln's hair, coat, and facial features come alive. The memorial on the reverse, with its clean lines and symmetry, adds balance. When these designs are presented in flawless condition, they transcend their humble purpose and approach the realm of art. There is also a cautionary side to the dream. With great value comes great risk. Counterfeits, altered coins, and exaggerated claims exist in the market. This makes education and professional verification even more important. A true multi-million-dollar coin must stand up to intense scrutiny. Every aspect must be right: weight, composition, strike, and provenance. This rigorous process protects the integrity of the hobby and ensures that genuine rarities are recognized. As Part 4 of this unfolding story closes, the 1970 1-cent coin stands as a symbol of what collectors chase: rarity hidden in plain sight, history preserved in metal, and the possibility that the smallest denomination can carry the largest dreams. The deeper one goes, the clearer it becomes that this coin is not just about money. It is about curiosity, competition, and the timeless human desire to find meaning and value where others see none. As the story keeps unfolding, the 1970 1-cent coin begins to represent something even bigger than rarity or price. It becomes a symbol of belief. Belief that careful observation matters, belief that knowledge can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, and belief that history still hides surprises for those willing to look closely. At this level of discussion, the coin is no longer just metal, it becomes an idea that connects collectors across generations and continents. One fascinating aspect that deepens the legend is the role of storage and chance. Think about how coins survive. Some are lost forever, dropped into rivers, buried in the ground, or destroyed by corrosion. Others are spent endlessly, passing through countless hands. But a few, by pure luck or intentional care, end up protected, sealed in original bankrolls, tucked away in drawers, or placed in albums and forgotten. A 1970 penny preserved in such conditions, untouched for decades, becomes a time traveler. When rediscovered, it appears almost frozen in time, defying age. The idea of discovery is central to the emotional pull of this coin. Discovery is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, happening late at night under a small lamp, with a magnifying glass and a scale. A collector notices something unusual: the strike seems sharper than normal, the surface is cleaner, the color brighter. The weight feels just a little off, or the metal tone looks different. That moment, when curiosity turns into suspicion, is where legends begin. Many of the most famous coins in history started with such small, private moments. Market psychology also grows more complex at this stage. High-end collectors do not just buy coins, they buy positioning. Owning a unique or top-condition 1970 penny would instantly elevate someone's status in the numismatic world. Museums might seek it for display. Publications might feature it. Its owner would become part of the coin story. This social and cultural capital adds another invisible layer of value, one that cannot be measured in grams or millimeters. The passage of time continues to amplify everything. As years go by, fewer original rolls survive, fewer untouched collections remain. New collectors enter the hobby with fresh energy, while seasoned collectors refine their focus. The best coins rise to the top, becoming benchmarks against which others are measured. In such an environment, a single extraordinary 1970 cent could become the definitive example, the one everyone references, the one that sets records and expectations. There is also a philosophical side to all this. The penny has often been criticized as obsolete, worth too little to matter. Yet this very perception makes its transformation into a multi-million-dollar object even more powerful. It challenges ideas about worth and utility. It suggests that value is not fixed but created through context, rarity, and human attention. A 1970 penny, overlooked by millions, becomes priceless because a few people see something more. Stories passed between collectors reinforce this philosophy. Tales of jars of pennies saved by grandparents, of coins found in unexpected places, of collections discovered after decades of silence, all of these stories feed into the mythos. The 1970 cent fits perfectly into this narrative because it is common enough to be familiar, yet old enough to feel historic. It invites participation. Anyone could have one. Anyone could check. At this level, the coin also becomes educational. New collectors learn about mint marks, die varieties, planchet composition, grading standards, and market dynamics through the lens of a single date. The 1970 penny becomes a gateway into deeper knowledge. It teaches patience, discipline, and respect for detail. Even those who never find a rare example gain something valuable. Understanding. As this chapter of the story draws on, the legend of the 1970 1-cent coin feels stronger, richer, and more layered than ever. It stands as proof that greatness does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the smallest corners of history, waiting for someone to listen, to look closely, and to believe that even a single cent can carry a dream worth millions. As the narrative moves into an even deeper and more reflective space, the 1970 1-cent coin begins to feel almost symbolic of time itself. Coins pass through decades silently, unaffected by human drama, yet absorbing meaning as generations come and go. By the time collectors discuss a 1970 penny in terms of extraordinary value, they are not just talking about a coin, they are talking about survival, patience, and the accumulation of history in the smallest possible form. At this stage, attention turns toward the unseen journeys these coins may have taken. A single 1970 cent could have started its life in the bustling economy of the early 1970s, used to buy a newspaper, dropped into a tip jar, or counted out in a school cafeteria. Each of these moments left tiny marks of human life around it. For the rarest survivors, however, those journeys were cut short. Instead of endless circulation, they were set aside, protected by chance or foresight, allowing them to remain almost untouched while the world changed around them. Collectors often speak about intuition, that quiet inner signal that tells them when something is special. This intuition is built on years of experience, handling thousands of coins, learning what is normal and what is not. When someone picks up a 1970 penny and feels that intuition spark, it is rarely accidental. It comes from noticing balance in the strike, clarity in the design, and harmony in the surfaces. These subtle cues are impossible to fake and difficult to explain, yet they guide many important discoveries. The role of storytelling becomes even more important here. A coin valued at unimaginable levels must carry a story that matches its price. The 1970 penny story is powerful because it combines familiarity with surprise. Everyone knows what a penny looks like. Almost no one expects it to be extraordinary. This contrast creates emotional impact. When collectors share the story of a single cent rising to legendary status, it captures attention far beyond the hobby itself, reaching people who may have never thought about coins before. There is also a sense of responsibility that comes with such value. Owners of ultra-rare coins often see themselves as temporary guardians rather than permanent possessors. They understand that these objects will likely outlive them, passing into new hands, new collections, or public institutions. A hypothetical $24 million 1970 penny would not just belong to one person, it would belong to history. This mindset adds dignity and seriousness to the pursuit. From a technical perspective, the deeper collectors go, the more they appreciate how difficult perfection truly is. The minting process involves enormous pressure, heat, and speed. Achieving a flawless strike on a soft copper planchet is remarkably challenging. Tiny flaws can occur at any stage. This makes a perfect or near-perfect 1970D cent an almost statistical miracle. When rarity meets perfection, value multiplies rapidly. The conversation also touches on legacy. Many collectors are motivated not only by personal enjoyment but by the desire to leave something meaningful behind. A rare coin becomes a bridge between generations, a physical object that carries stories, effort, and passion. For families, such a discovery could transform financial futures. For institutions, it could become a centerpiece of education and display. As the hunt continues, the 1970D penny maintains its quiet power. It does not shout. It waits. It sits in jars, rolls, and collections, blending in with ordinary coins. This quiet presence is part of its charm. The idea that something so small and common could hold such immense potential keeps collectors engaged, hopeful, and endlessly curious. As Part 6 draws to a close, the legend feels less like speculation and more like a meditation on value itself. The 1970 D1 cent coin teaches that value is layered, built over time through rarity, condition, story, and human desire. In the next continuation, the focus will move even further into the future, exploring how this coin story may continue to evolve as new generations of collectors take up the search and add their own chapters to its enduring mystery. As the story flows onward, the 1970 D1 cent coin begins to feel almost timeless, as if it exists outside normal ideas of age and worth. At this point, the discussion naturally shifts toward the future, because the future is where legends are truly tested. Coins do not reach mythical status overnight. They grow into it, slowly, as knowledge spreads, records are studied, and generations of collectors reinterpret the past through new eyes. The 1970D penny stands right at that intersection between the past we know and the future we imagine. New technology continues to change how collectors interact with coins. High-resolution imaging, digital microscopes, precise metal analysis, and global online databases allow details to be studied in ways that were impossible decades ago. A coin once dismissed as ordinary can suddenly reveal secrets under advanced examination. Tiny die markers, subtle doubling, or microscopic surface characteristics can now be documented, compared, and shared instantly across the world. This means the story of the 1970 cent is not finished, it is still being written as tools improve and understanding deepens. The internet has also transformed the psychology of collecting. Information spreads fast. A single discovery can become global news in hours. Videos, forums, and social platforms amplify excitement and curiosity. When people hear about the possibility of a penny worth millions, it sparks action. Jars of old change are opened. Collections are revisited. Attention returns to coins that had been ignored for years. This collective focus can elevate a coin's status dramatically, not because the coin changed, but because perception did. There is something deeply human about this process. Humans are storytellers by nature, and we are drawn to narratives of transformation. A humble object becoming extraordinary resonates across cultures. The 1970D penny embodies this perfectly. It is small, common, and familiar, yet wrapped in the potential for greatness. That potential keeps people searching, learning, and dreaming. Another important layer is generational transfer. As older collectors pass their collections to children or grandchildren, new eyes examine old coins. What one generation overlooked, another might recognize as special. Knowledge evolves. Standards change. A coin that once seemed unremarkable may suddenly be re-evaluated in a new context. This ongoing reassessment ensures that the story of the 1970 cent remains alive rather than frozen. There is also the quiet thrill of possibility. Even seasoned collectors, who understand how rare true treasures are, still feel it. That moment when a coin is flipped over, when the light hits the surface just right, when the details seem sharper than expected. That moment keeps the hobby alive. The 1970 penny feeds that feeling because it exists everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It is easy to find, yet incredibly hard to find an exceptional form from an emotional perspective. The idea of extreme value attached to a penny challenges everyday thinking. It encourages people to slow down and look closer at the world around them. It suggests that worth is not always obvious, that patience and attention can reveal hidden depth. In this way, the coin becomes almost philosophical, reminding us that significance often hides beneath the surface. As collectors continue their search, the legend of the 1970 D1 cent coin grows quieter but deeper. It no longer needs loud claims. Its power lies in endurance. Decades after it was minted, people are still talking about it, still examining it, still imagining what might be out there. Few objects achieve that kind of lasting attention. As this chapter draws to a close, the story feels suspended in anticipation. The 1970 D penny remains out in the world, resting in collections, jars, and rolls, waiting to be discovered, rediscovered, or understood in a new way. And that waiting, that sense of unfinished business, is what keeps the legend alive, pushing it forward into the future with quiet confidence and endless possibility. As the narrative stretches even further, the 1970 D1 cent coin begins to feel like a quiet constant in a rapidly changing world. Economies rise and fall, technologies advance, and trends come and go, yet this small copper coin remains unchanged, carrying the same design, the same weight, the same silent presence it had the day it was struck. That stability gives it a strange power. While paper money is redesigned and digital currency emerges, the penny endures, grounding the idea of value in something physical and familiar. At this depth, collectors often talk about patience as a form of wisdom. The most meaningful discoveries rarely happen quickly. They happen after years of looking, learning, and sometimes being disappointed. The 1970 D penny rewards that patience not necessarily by revealing a fortune every time, but by teaching the collector how to see, how to notice subtle differences, how to appreciate craftsmanship, how to respect history. Even if a collector never finds a legendary example, the journey itself becomes valuable. The social side of collecting becomes more visible here. Coin shows, small gatherings, online discussions, and private conversations all keep the legend alive. Someone mentions a particularly sharp 1970 D cent they saw years ago. Another recalls a roll they once searched and wishes they had kept. These shared memories and regrets weave together into a collective story. The coin becomes a shared reference point, a topic that sparks connection between strangers who speak the same numismatic language. There is also an emotional humility to the penny. Unlike gold or silver coins that announce wealth and power, the cent is modest. It does not demand attention. This humility makes its transformation into something extraordinarily valuable even more compelling. It feels earned, not forced. It suggests that greatness does not always need to be loud, that even the smallest things can carry immense significance if circumstances align. As collectors imagine the future, they often wonder where the ultimate examples are now. Are they sitting quietly in a safety deposit box, already recognized but rarely seen? Are they hidden in an old collection, ungraded and unappreciated? Or are they still moving through the world, passing from hand to hand, waiting for the right moment and the right eyes? This uncertainty keeps the story open-ended, alive with possibility. Education continues to shape the next generation of collectors. Books, videos, and shared knowledge ensure that interest does not fade. The 1970 D penny becomes a teaching tool, an example used to explain how rarity, condition, and story interact. Through it, people learn that value is not magic, it is built. Built through understanding, consensus, and time. There is also a quiet respect that grows around coins that achieve legendary status. They are no longer just collectibles, they become cultural artifacts. A hypothetical 1970 D cent valued at extraordinary levels would likely be discussed not just in numismatic circles, but in broader conversations about history, economics, and collecting itself. It would symbolize how society assigns meaning and worth. As this part of the story settles, the tone becomes calmer, almost reflective. The excitement is still there, but it is tempered by understanding. The 1970 D1 cent coin does not promise riches to everyone. Instead, it offers something subtler and perhaps more enduring, a reminder to look closely, to respect the past, and to recognize that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories if we are willing to listen. As we move into the next chapter of this unfolding legend, the 1970 D1 cent coin reveals yet another layer of fascination: the interplay between rarity, human curiosity, and the forces that shape the coin market over decades. At this stage, it becomes clear that the story of this coin is not only about its physical attributes, weight, design, mint mark, but also about the networks of collectors, dealers, and institutions that determine what makes a coin extraordinary in the eyes of the world. Collectors often discuss population reports, which track how many coins of a given type and grade are known to exist. A 1970 penny in circulated condition may be almost unremarkable in these reports, but an uncirculated or exceptional example, especially one with a unique error or striking feature, suddenly becomes rare. Population reports create benchmarks. They help the market recognize scarcity and assign value accordingly. When a coin's population is extremely low or even singular, its market potential skyrockets, because buyers know it may be impossible to obtain again. Mint errors, a major focus for this date, illustrate the unpredictability of the production process. Off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and planchet anomalies all result from slight deviations during minting, yet each deviation can drastically alter the coin's appeal. A single off-center strike, where part of Lincoln's profile is partially cut off but the coin remains intact, transforms an ordinary penny into a collectible masterpiece. Similarly, a double die, where certain elements appear duplicated due to die misalignment, can make a coin instantly recognizable to knowledgeable collectors. In extreme cases, these rare errors can contribute to the multi-million-dollar valuations discussed in Legend and Theory. The 1970 penny story is also enriched by the human behavior surrounding discovery and competition. Collectors often hunt through thousands of coins, meticulously rolling through banks, thrift stores, or personal collections, in hopes of finding one with exceptional characteristics. This process, known as roll hunting, is not only technical but psychological. The possibility that a fortune might lie hidden among mundane change keeps the search compelling. Even the act of sorting through everyday coins creates a sense of anticipation, a tangible connection to history, and a private thrill when a coin stands out. Provenance adds another dimension to the coin story. A coin's value can increase dramatically if its history is documented, whether it was part of a notable collection, discovered in an extraordinary context, or associated with a significant event. In the case of a 1970 penny, a documented lineage could elevate an already rare example into the realm of legend. Provenance creates trust, credibility, and narrative power, ensuring that collectors and investors are confident in the coin's authenticity and uniqueness. The market itself is shaped by psychology and perception. When a coin gains attention through social media, collector forums, auctions, or numismatic publications, it can ignite interest far beyond its intrinsic characteristics. Suddenly, the penny is no longer just a piece of copper, it becomes a symbol of possibility, rarity, and prestige. Buyers compete not only for ownership but for status, historical connection, and the story that comes with possessing something few have seen. At the highest levels, these intangible factors can push theoretical values to astonishing heights, including the widely speculated $24 million range. Collectors also measure coins using technical standards that go beyond casual observation. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, assessing luster, strike, surface preservation, and minute details that can distinguish a great coin from a legendary one. A top-grade 1970 cent, perfectly preserved with original luster and sharp strike details, could emerge as a benchmark for collectors worldwide. These coins are then encapsulated in protective holders, ensuring that their condition is preserved and their authenticity certified. The certification itself adds market credibility and is often a prerequisite for participation in the highest-level auctions. As the story develops, it becomes clear that the 1970 penny is more than the sum of its parts. It is a convergence of history, craftsmanship, rarity, human psychology, and market forces. Every element, from the metal composition to the minting errors, from the collector's intuition to the global community's perception, interacts to create a coin that is, in theory, capable of commanding extraordinary value. By the end of this chapter, the 1970 1-cent coin emerges not only as an object of curiosity but as a symbol of hope, patience, and the thrill of discovery. Its story is a reminder that even the smallest and most overlooked objects can carry immense significance, that human attention can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, and that the legacy of a coin is built over decades through both chance and careful stewardship. The 1970 penny continues to wait, quiet yet potent, ready to astonish the next person fortunate or diligent enough to find it. And now, as we reach the final chapter of this extraordinary journey, the 1970 1-cent coin stands revealed not simply as a piece of copper, but as a testament to time, history, and human fascination. Its story is a tapestry woven from countless threads: the skilled hands that design and struck it, the machines and processes that gave it shape, the people who spent it without knowing its potential, and the generations of collectors who have searched for it with hope, patience, and relentless curiosity. This coin, small and unassuming, embodies lessons far larger than its size might suggest. It teaches us that value is more than metal or utility, it is context, rarity, and story. A 1970 penny in ordinary condition may pass unnoticed, yet a single error, perfect strike, or unique feature can transform it into an object of awe. It illustrates the power of preservation, as those that survived decades uncirculated now represent glimpses of history frozen in time. Every toning variation, every trace of red copper luster, every crisp line in Lincoln's profile contributes to its appeal, signaling the patience of nature and the precision of human craft. The true magic of this penny lies in the interplay between chance and knowledge. No one can predict which coin in a jar, a roll, or a forgotten collection might be the extraordinary one. Yet those who study, examine, and appreciate the nuances of minting are equipped to recognize greatness when it appears. The 1970 penny rewards diligence, understanding, and the willingness to look deeper than the surface, revealing the hidden potential that lies within even the most familiar objects. Beyond physical characteristics, this coin represents human imagination. The legend of a penny worth millions sparks dreams and discussions, inspiring collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. It teaches that rarity is not only a number, but a concept built from perception, reputation, and historical narrative. It reminds us that even something as ordinary as a 1-cent coin can become extraordinary through the convergence of unique circumstances, preserved condition, and the attentive eyes of those who care. Its enduring presence across decades reflects stability in a world of change. While societies, economies, and technologies evolve rapidly, the 1970 penny remains constant, quietly waiting in collections, drawers, and rolls for its next chapter. Its simplicity makes it accessible, its rarity makes it desirable, and its story makes it immortal. It is a bridge between past and future, between ordinary and extraordinary, between human curiosity and historical legacy. As this saga concludes, the 1970 1-cent coin teaches lessons far beyond numismatics. It shows that the smallest object can carry immense significance, that patience and knowledge can unlock hidden treasures, and that history often hides in plain sight. Its potential value, speculated in the millions, reflects more than monetary worth. It reflects human fascination, perseverance, and imagination. In the end, the 1970 penny is not just a coin, it is a story, a symbol, and a challenge. It waits quietly, promising adventure to those who dare to look closer, offering the thrill of discovery, and reminding us that even the most humble objects can hold infinite possibility. Its legacy is complete only when someone, somewhere, uncovers its secrets and adds a new chapter to the legend of the most fascinating 1-cent coin in numismatic history.